What's up guys, Volt here bringing you a brand new Fast and Furious car remake. In today's remake, I'm bringing you the 1970 Plymouth Roadrunner that Dominic Toretto drives in the Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. Pretty much at the end of the movie. Also, it was shown in parts or a little bit of like a scene of Fast 7 as well, whenever Dom actually meets Sean. I guess it's supposed to take place after they raced in Tokyo Drift at the end. I guess they were drifting. This car is not a drift build. You can possibly make it a drift build if you wish, but I wouldn't expect Dom to have like an exact drift build. This car is also shown in like Furious 6 a little bit, as well as it, a different design for the car in Furious 7 as well. I mean, overall, it is a pretty widely known car, and the car that it's based after is called the Hammer. So I looked up a decent bit of information on this, watched a video on the actual build of the car and everything, and this is what I came up with. Overall, I think it turned out great. I don't know if I had any requests for this. If I did, I will definitely put them on screen right now, but I figured this would be a kind of cool car to build, and the car I'm using is actually the Impaler. I know other people would use something else, but unfortunately, this is the only build I have for this build here. The orange or the like reddish style build that he has for the Plymouth Roadrunner as well, I cannot do with this build, so you will not be seeing that, unfortunately. Maybe later on in the future we'll get an updated car that I can probably make a build on, but as of right now, this is what I have to work with, and this is what I got, and I think it turned out beautifully, by the way. So as always, we're going to start off with our base price. You want to go to the internet, you want to go up here to the Travel and Transport website, you actually want to go to the Arena War website, and you want to go down and do the buy upgradable vehicles. Now in this section here, you're going to find the Impaler right here sitting, and you want to actually click on it, and you want to actually buy it now for $331,835, unless you had the trade price, by which you need to like unlock it by doing like certain levels in the arena. Then it will be $249,500. Unfortunately, we will not be upgrading it to any of these. We're just going to be keeping it stock, and honestly, I like it better stock in my personal opinion. So anyways, once you have your car, meet us at the Los Santos Car Meet location. Alright, and let's go customize the beauty. So the Declasse Impaler is in the muscle category, or Impaler, I don't know how you want to say it. But yes, it is in the muscle category, pretty much self-explanatory. It should be a muscle car of some sort. I believe this is the closest build you could do for the Plymouth Roadrunner that's actually in Tokyo Drift, especially the design of it and how it turned out and everything. But I mean, there might be other cars that other people use. This is the one I think works the best. I don't know exactly what it's based after. I believe it's supposed to be based after an Impala, not, a Plymouth Roadrunner, because, Impaler, Impala, kind of like maybe the same exact style or design. It might even have the same livery as that as well, but I'm not sure. But yeah, this is the car that I chose, and you guys can let me know what you guys chose down below. Maybe you chose mine and you build it your way just like mine, or maybe you took some parts from this build and put it on your own build of a different car that you chose in game. So, as I always say in all my builds, I go over the overall look, the visual appearance, and the basic design the car and how it's portrayed in the movie, game, or anywhere else in general itself. Anything I don't go over is completely up to you. I just put a few staples in on my build. If you want to recreate my build or take some things away from my build to add to your own build or make your own build, then you're more than welcome to. And yeah, just follow along with the video. So anyways, without further ado, let's get into the build. So to start things off, you want to go to bumpers, you want to go to the front bumpers, and you just want to keep that stock. You don't want to make it painted, and you definitely don't want to remove the bumper. It had that nice big chrome bumper against the front, so I definitely will keep it stock. After that, we move on to the rear bumpers. You just want to keep that stock as well. Main reason for this is you do not want to do the molded bumper. It kind of like molds to the shape of where the lights and everything are, like the little part that's sticking out there on each side. Also, you don't want it painted, and you don't want that wheelie bar. So I would definitely just keep it stock. Best option in my personal opinion. After that, we move on to the exhaust. You want to keep the stock exhaust, or another viable option is you could go with the big chrome exhaust. Now the exhaust come out where the kind of like the lights are, and I kind of thought this option here was a decent option, but then I kind of realized that it does like an upsweep, like angular type exhaust, and I really don't like that personally. So that's why I personally stuck with the stock exhaust. If you do like this design, or if you don't like it all, I would just keep the stock exhaust. These are the two best options, either the stock or the big chrome exhaust. People have their own takes and builds on this car, and what they think looks best. I think it does like kind of get the reminiscent from this angle of like the exhaust going straight back, but if you go to the side, it just doesn't look right in my personal opinion, and I'd rather just have the stock one, my personal self. Again, I mean, it is your guys' money and your car, build it however you wish. From there, move on to the splitters. You just want to keep that stock. It didn't have a splitter at all. No little splitter in the front. So definitely don't add anything like that. Keep it nice and stock. Like I said, pretty much for the most part, stock around the entire body. From there, we move on to the hood. Now, I think the pinned low level cowl hood is the best option. You kind of get that little bit of a raised hood there. It does add a little bit of hood pins, which I don't believe are actually on the car. But other than that, I mean, there's not really any other hood that really fits for the build. And this is about one of the only cars that actually has this kind of hood. And it was on the actual build. Unfortunately, on the real life build, it had like a matte or like a basic black primer type color over top the middle of the hood, and unfortunately we cannot do that. But yeah, I would definitely go with the pin low level cowl hood. That's my best option for the build. From there, move on to the lights. You want to go to headlights, and you just want to keep them stock. You want to get that nice old styled look to it. You don't want to have any like flashy xenons or white lights or any kind of colored lights. You definitely just want to keep them nice and stock, get that old style 1970 look. From there, move on to the neon kits. Neon layout's gonna be none, because I don't believe it had any neon, especially I saw in Tokyo Drift didn't have any neon, so yeah, definitely want to add that. From there, we move on to livery. Now, I was hoping to add a kind of like black stripe livery on here, and it does have an option to do the classic stripe. Now, it does kind of go all the way down the car, and again, if you guys really want the actual stripe on the hood, because the hood middle induction like cowl, whatever it is, actually is supposed to be black, you can add this, but I would highly not personally. I mean, that's me. I'm just gonna keep mine with none, because I still get the design and the look of the car from just having it on none. But I mean, if you really want that dark kind of look to it, you can add this. It doesn't make it black, it makes it more like a gray, unfortunately. So again, it is your money and your build it however you wish, but again, I'm just gonna go with none. From there, move on to the plate. You want to go with a blue and white too, and whatever text you want. Honestly, you could probably go with any plate you want, because in the movie, and I believe in most of the movies, if not all the movies, that this car was actually shown, it didn't show a plate. Dom didn't have a plate on this car that I know of anyways. At least on the gray version, he didn't have a custom plate on it, or like a regular plate on there to know what it was. But the real life car is actually from California, so I went with a blue and white too, and I just put my 1327 custom plate on, because again, you know, it's the family, you know, it's a family car. After that, we move on to the spoilers. Now, I went with none, because for my builds, I try to recreate my builds as close to the real thing as possible, whether it be from the movies or wherever it's from. Just I try to create it as exact replicas as much as possible. But if you really want to add a little bit of traction, because this thing does have not the greatest traction, not the greatest handling, you can add actually a lip spoiler at the most. It does add a little tiny bit of a weird like back end to it, but from the front, it's barely noticeable. So yeah, take your pick on what you want to do, lip spoiler or none. Me personally, I'm going to stick with none. From there, we move on to the suspension. I went with a lowered suspension, mainly because like it's kind of hard to understand. I kind of watched a video of the actual car. The two I would recommend is either a lowered or a street. The front end kind of goes down over pretty close to the actual rim. Like the front fender actually goes down pretty close to the chrome part of the rim. So I thought maybe like a lowered would be good, or even a street. I feel like street might be a little bit pushing it, but you could get away with it. But I would personally just go with a lowered. I think it fits the best, and again, it's the one that I just think works the best. From there, move on to the turbo. Again, I would add a turbo. If I could add a supercharger to it, I probably would. Apparently, the car that it was based after is called the Hammer, and it had like 744 horsepower. It was an insane beast, and this car kind of performs a little bit that way in-game, I would say. It's got a decent performance. But yeah, definitely add that turbo, get that nice power on this thing. So yeah, I would definitely add it if you have the money and you have it unlocked. From there, we move on to the wheels. You want to go to wheel type, you want to go down to the sport category, you want to go to the stock rims, and you want to put on the ground ride rim. Now these rims I think fit the best, mainly because the rims actually that were used on the actual real life car kind of are representation of these a little bit. They kind of curve a bit more inward than outward. Like you see how these kind of like fan outwards. The real life ones kind of fan inwards, but they do have the chrome lip around it, and I just think that these fit really well. They also just kind of bring the whole car together in my personal opinion. So the ground ride rims are the best option in my personal opinion. From there, we move on to the wheel color. You want to go with black. They were nice and black. They weren't really like a carbon black. I would definitely say they were a nice dark black. So yeah, I would definitely keep them black. From there, we move on to the tires. Tire design is not going to be anything. Unfortunately, it didn't have any custom tires on it, like tire text or anything. So I would just keep the stock tires. I wouldn't really worry about the tire design all that much. From there, you move on to the tire enhancements. Now, again, if you want to make it a drift build, even though it wasn't shown in the movie that it was drifting, you can add low grip tires and make it into a drift build. But me personally, I figured Dom's going to have a muscle car and it's not going to be shown drifting per se. I guess it wasn't really, it was just there for that one scene. Well, a couple scenes actually, in Fast 7 as well. But I mean, it was just pretty much sitting in there for the most part. You know, they might have burned out a little bit and maybe like actually did a little bit of a launch or whatever. But other than that, they weren't really drifting. It didn't show drifting anyways that I know of. So I'm just gonna stick with standard tires, but you can add bulletproof tires on if you wish. It is GTA Online, I understand that. Or if you really want to make a drift build that you think it was a drift build, go for it and add low grip tires. Again, totally your call on which one you choose. From there, move on to the tire smoke. You just want to keep that white tire smoke. From there, we move on to the windows. You just want to keep it none. You don't want to add any tint. I thought maybe it had like a little bit of tint, but unfortunately it didn't. And I just think that it actually looks nice and clean, and it makes it look clearer too. I mean, it looks really nice. Nice, clean, simplistic, and just a beauty of a ride. Alright, and I will see you guys in 2 seconds with a rolled steel primer color. Alright, and we're back. As you can see, I have my car in my primer out rolled steel. Pretty much what I always do for all my builds to start off with. And I'm going to go over 2 colors in this actual build here. One is going to be the alternative color, which if you can't use the custom crew color I created, this is a really great option, you know, an alternative color pretty much to use if you don't want to use that or if you can't use it. So what you want to do is you want to go to primary color, you want to go down to the metallics, and you want to go down and you want to find yourself the stone silver. Now after you apply the stone silver, you actually want to put on the pearlescent of a frost white. Now what this is going to do, it's going to give that nice kind of like grayish kind of feel to it, as well as a little bit of like a bluish, like a very, very subtle bluish kind of shine to it. And the pearlescent is the same as it is on my custom crew color as well, but it's going to give that nice color. Now the color that it was based on was a 2003 or 2004 BMW Stirling Gray, and I made a custom crew color for that, and the hex code will be down on the video right now. So if you want to apply the extra custom crew color, again, hex code should be on screen right now. You just go and apply that right now. So there you go. There it is, the custom crew color. It actually looks really, really good, and especially at night and in daytime, it looks really, really good. So that's what you want to do for that. Again, if you do not have the option or do not have any way to actually use a custom crew color on your build, then I would definitely, like I said, go to metallics, go down here to the stone silver, and then put on a frost white pearlescent. Again, if you watch the color change, it's really not that much different. It's just a little bit darker for my custom crew color. After that, we go to the pearlescents. You want to go down to the frost white, and you want to apply that right over top. Now you're probably thinking, why wouldn't you add an ice white? Ice white is a little bit more white. What I mean by that is frost white adds a little bit more of like a very, very subtle bluish kind of hue to it compared to the absolute white that is ice white. That's why I chose the frost white. It's a bit more of a cooler color. Ice white is a bit more of a warmer color. And you guys probably don't know what those terms mean, but yeah, it's just, I choose frost white for my pearlescent. Now after that, we move on to the secondary color. Now what you want to do for this is you want to have that nice chrome front grille, and you know, pretty much around the outsides as well, like the mirrors and everything. So you just want to go to the chrome section, and you just want to apply your chrome right over top, just like that. That's going to give it that nice chrome grille. You know, you're going to have the nice color over top there. That's going to also fill in that nice back rear bumper as well. And it's just going to kind of complete the build. Lastly, before anything else, we go to the trim color, and you want to put on a black steel. Now, the interior was a little bit hard to find. I was trying to find pictures. I found a video, and I found pictures, and what it looks like, it's like a mix between like a black and a gray at times. So I'm doing the best of both worlds. I'm doing a black steel. Again, a black being like the basic color, and then the steel color being kind of like a gray. So like a mixture of the two. So if you go with like a dark steel, you're more like a gray. If you go to the black steel, you're more of like a mixture of the two. If you go to anthracite black, you're in the black. So it's like in between the two colors. And I think it fits really well. It kind of contrasts really nicely with the rims and everything. If you really wanted to, you could probably even go with a graphite or maybe an anthracite black. But again, that is completely your choice. I just think a black steel is a decent option, and it does look really good. And you know, it is kind of like, I guess it's supposed to be like a leather interior and everything. So yeah, it looks really nice. And that's pretty much how I did the build. And that is it. That's how you recreate the 1970 Plymouth Roadrunner that Dominic Toretto drives in the Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. Honestly, it didn't really show him driving that much. They just did like a little start at the beginning, like the very end of the movie. And then like in Fast 7, it kind of cut back to that and then him talking to Sean. Like, you don't really see this car move all that much. The orange or red version, you see that move more than this one. But unfortunately, I will not be building that one because it is completely different than this and it looks really nothing like this. So let's go back to our spot real quick. The nice thing about this custom crew color and the pearlescent combo is, like I said, in the dark, it does kind of get that nice, decently shine on there. And in certain lighting, you can see a little bit of like a bluish type hue of the pearlescent on there as well. It looks really nice. And yeah, so hopefully it's, okay, it looks like it's daytime out. We'll go outside, go for a little bit of a drive outside. As you can see, look at this. The sun's not completely up yet, but you can see like the little bit of like the very subtle, like cool blue-ish, like whitish color there. What I mean by cool is it has like a kind of more of like a blue hue, and you can just see like the color. It's more like a whitish silver, adding like a little bit of blue to it than the other color, which is this pretty much like a warmer color and just being all white. So it just really adds to the car. Let's go for a little bit of a drive. I did not put low grips on this thing, but you can drift this thing without putting low grips on it. It's just a little bit harder, I would say. It's a little bit harder. But yeah, this car is a lot of fun. It's pretty fast too. I'm not gonna lie, it is pretty fast. But I mean, it does lose control quite a bit too. But I think it does fit the best for the Plymouth Roadrunner, especially the one from Tokyo Drift. Overall, I think this car turned out great. You guys can let me know what you think down in the comment section down below, how I did. So yeah, guys, I think that's gonna pretty much wrap up the video. So as always, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a comment down in the comment section down below for what build you would like to see next. Again, it can be from anything. It doesn't just have to be from Fast and Furious. It can be for any movie, game, anything you enjoy, even like a real life car. I can always take a crack at it. You never know. I will definitely get back to you within a day or two if I can actually do it or not. I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all the love and support. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. I'll catch you guys later. I'm out. Peace.